rectangular to polar on the Casio again, this time just giving your argument, giving that angle in radians, okay? So the first thing to say is you could just do it the exact same way I did it in the other video, get the answer with the angle in degrees and then change that degrees into radians either just by multiplying the degrees by pi over 180 or converting it on the calculator kind of separately. All right. If you want to get your answer in radians kind of in the first instance, then just make sure your calculator is in radians mode to start. So that is setup and then angle unit and then 2 for radians. All right. Again, I'm just going to do a couple of examples I did in a previous video so we know the answer we're expecting for. So we know 4 cis pi over 6 is what I want here. So it's 2 root 3 plus 2i is my complex number. So shift and plus 2 root 3 right arrow, comma, 2, close your bracket, equals, and we see it's got the argument I want, that's 4, but the argument, so the modulus 4 that I want, the argument though, the angle is not in the form I want, it's 0.52, etc. Okay, now if you look at the angle I got here, pi over 6, pi is around about 3.14. So a little bit bigger than 3 over 6, a little bit bigger than 0.5. That makes sense. So I do seem to have the right answer. It's just giving it to me in decimal rather than fraction form with pi in it. So it's like forcing the modulus to be in surd form that we've dealt with before. This time though, I'm looking for the red y here. Okay, so the calculator does have the angle in its memory. It's stored as this red Y here above the SD button. So if I press alpha and SD, the Y comes up, press equals, and then 1 over 6 pi or pi over 6 is another way of writing that. So there's my angle. So 4 cis pi over 6. All right, just one more example done like that. So minus 4 root 2 minus 4 root 2i, and this time I'm expecting 8 cis minus 3 pi over 4 as my answer. So I'm dealing in radians here, so I want it in radians mode. So it is shift and plus minus 4 root 2 shift and right bracket 4 comma minus 4 root 2, then my bracket. So when we did these by hand, we kind of just dealt with those 4 root 2s as being positive and just looked at that right angle triangle. When you're doing it on the calculator, if they're negative there, put them into the calculator negative. Okay, equals 8 as my modulus. That's fine, that's what I've got. Minus 2.356 is not the form I want the angle in. Okay, so I want that with a pi in it as a rational number, as a fraction. Okay, so again, it's just red y above SD that I'm looking for. So alpha SD, that y should come up, press equals, and there's the minus 3 over 4 pi or minus 3 pi over 4. All right, so it's given it to me as a negative one as well. So it's dealt with the fact that it's down this quadrant correctly, and the calculator will do that. They're programmed to go from 0 to plus 180, 0 to minus 180. And again, the other thing to say there is you could have done it into degrees mode, and then that would have given you 135 degrees. Multiply it by pi over 180 would get that for you as well. So you can just operate in degrees and change the angle to radians at the end if you want, or else do it fully in radians mode as I've done here.